Hello, welcome to my channel Tech Tejendra. This is the second video of the series of Red Hat OpenShift. In first part, I have shown you that how to install OpenShift and uninstall OpenShift from the clusters. Means we install the OpenShift in AWS cluster in our first part. Likewise, you can also install OpenShift into the Google Cloud cluster, right? So in the second part, now we will discuss about the relationship between Docker, Kubernetes, and OpenShift. So how these three parts are related, and then we will discuss about the advantage of OpenShift, why we should use OpenShift instead of Kubernetes. Then we will deep dive into the OpenShift architecture and will understand how OpenShift will work. And then we will understand the build, deployment, and image stream concept of the OpenShift. So let me start here. So the relation between the Docker's, Kubernetes, and OpenShift. So for understanding OpenShift, you must be very good knowledge of the Docker as well as the Kubernetes, and you must know the concept of the container, because now it is the age of cloud development. So everything is moving to cloud, and the monolithic applications are not being used now. So now the most advanced in the current development method is the microservice development. So all big applications are being developed into the microservice pattern. So means there is no a single application running on a single server or single machine. Okay, so now we are developing, we are now breaking into the part, and we call them the microservice, and these microservices are connected with each other. So microservices are running inside the container. So what is container? Container is the combination of operating system. We can say it the base OS, software libraries, configuration files, which are needed to run your applications. So ideally, container is having the application code as well as the all dependencies which is required to run this application. So this is the container. Then what is Docker? So Docker is a kind of tool, you can say, which allow which is used to create the container. Okay, so it is kind of packager. By using it, you can create the container. Okay, so likewise, the definition say provides the ability to package and run the application inside the container. So it basically package your application, all the dependencies inside the container. So it is a tool to create the container. And then the Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is kind of the orchestration. Like I told you that applications are running in the microservice environment. So microservice will connect with each other. So there would be a lot of networking between the microservice. Suppose there is a very big applications, and now we have now we have break into the multiple small services called the microservices. But how this application will work, these all small part of the application will be connected with each other. So there would be some kind of networking. Okay, so Kubernetes is to basically manage all your microservices. Maybe some microservices need many means many memories, need scale, horizontal scales. Okay, so suppose some part of your application he have a lot of loads. Okay, so it can scale it. So all these kind of things will be done into the Kubernetes. So it basically manage your workloads and services. Okay, so it is kind of orchestration. So there is a master node, worker nodes. A lot of concepts are here. A lot of complexities are here in Kubernetes. So creating container is not the solution for the enterprise applications. You have to run these containers, and you have to manage these containers. You have to manage the networking between these containers. This is all about the Kubernetes. So it is a complex topic, and to run applications in microservice environment, it is the basic needs. Okay, so cluster, what is cluster? So cluster is the set of at least one master and the multiple worker nodes. So what is master and worker node? So master node is to control. So it's basically control the worker nodes, how many nodes should be there, how much load is there. So if there is need to create one more worker node or not. Okay, so it's basically manage the state of your application, manage the state of your services. Okay, so that is the cluster. And then what is OpenShift? So OpenShift is built on top of the Docker and Kubernetes technologies. Okay, so OpenShift is more than Docker and Kubernetes. We will understand in the next part. So advantages of OpenShift. So there are question asked, okay, that what is the difference between Kubernetes and OpenShift? Okay, so it is kind of asking that what is the difference between engine and car? Okay, so Kubernetes is kind of engine. If we talk about OpenShift, so Kubernetes is kind of engine, and OpenShift is the car. Okay, so we know that engine is the very essential part of the car, but you can't go anywhere with the engine. Okay, for to go from point A to point B, you need a car. By engine you cannot go itself. Okay, so that's why you need the OpenShift. OpenShift is the full package enterprise and enterprise tool, okay, which deliver the enterprise application. So that significance of OpenShift. Okay, so that's why Kubernetes in OpenShift. Kubernetes is a open source, and OpenShift is the full-fledged packaged enterprise grade package. Okay, so it is a product of Red Hat technology, so you can believe on it. And then it's provide the freedoms. Okay, freedom in terms of it provides the web console, so you can go into the web console and can manage your application. You can create the projects, create the applications, and a lot of things you can manage from the web console. Then it's also provide a command line. Everything cannot be done through the web console, so you need the command line to manage your OpenShift clusters and do many more things in through the command line. Then it supports many famous languages like Java, Ruby, Node.js, Python, Perl, PHPs. And if your application not fit into these languages, then it's also support the Docker images. So you can create your own image by using the Docker files, or you can directly pull the image from the image registry. So a lot of flexibility it is providing here. And then choice of cloud, so you can run the OpenShift either in public cloud, private cloud, or the hybrid cloud, which is the combination of public and private. So if we talk about this image, so it is a self-service because it is providing you the web console and other things. CLI also. Multi-language, as we told you, Java, Ruby, and Docker, it is supporting. Automations is already there, so means you can apply the DevOps technology here. So like H2I, source to image. Okay, so it is kind of, you can also implement Jenkins here. So the complete pipeline from starting from building to monitoring and deploying in between. So a lot of automations are here. Collaboration, team collaborations are there. So DevOps, as I told you, so different teams are collaboratively creating the applications. Then standard based, like it is using Kubernetes and Docker, so it's a lot of standards are there. Web scale, so you can scale up, scale down the application. It is completely the open source, and it is the enterprise grade applications. Okay, and the portability is also one advantage here. So if you are deploying your application in OpenShift, so it is a portable. So in future, if you think that you wanted to move this application into some other kind of cluster environment like AWS or the Google one, okay, like Google GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. So you can easily shift from OpenShift to the GKE. Okay, so that is all the advantage of OpenShift. Let me move ahead. Now we discuss about how OpenShift works. So it is the basic architecture of the OpenShift. Okay, so let me start from the bottom one. So it is the Red Hat Core OS. Okay, so this Red Hat Core OS, you can say the base operating system on which the OpenShift run. Okay, so it is the Linux distribution. Then on top of it, we have CRIO. CRIO means it is kind of Kubernetes container runtime interface. So it is basically based on the Open Container Initiative. Okay. Then, as I told you, OpenShift is based on the Kubernetes. So here is the Kubernetes container orchestration management. Then etcd is kind of a database. Okay, it is a key value database, and it store the cluster state, other configuration informations inside it. Then we have OpenShift Kubernetes extensions. So from here, this green part is basically the OpenShift part. So in this OpenShift Kubernetes extensions, or you can say the custom resource definitions are stored here for the OpenShift over the Kubernetes. Then we have containerized service, means authentication network, image registry. A lot of things are here. The OpenShift use for authentication networking, and it is having its internal image registry. Then runtime, as we discussed, so Java, Ruby, PHP, Python, many things are there. Node.js and Docker support is also there. Okay, so a lot of runtime there. Then we have the runtime DevOps tools, and as I told, the API, web console, the CLI, all are there. So that is all about OpenShift architecture. Okay, from bottom to top. Let's go ahead. So let me discuss about the build, deployment, and the image stream. This is the basic concept. Okay, so let me first start with this simple image. It is showing you a kind of DevOps cycle, starting from code to deployment, and it is showing you the S2I, source to image concept of OpenShift. Okay, so developer will write code and push it into the Git repository, and from Git repository there are the webhooks are configured in all OpenShift in different stages. So as soon as developer will push code into the Git repository, then there will be a webhook. This webhook will trigger, and the H2I will start from the OpenShift, and S2I will fetch the base image from the registry. This registry might be the Docker registry or QA.io registry, or maybe any kind of private registry. It will fetch out the builder image and will build your code using this build image, and will create a image. Okay, once the image is created, this image will be stored into the OpenShift internal image registry, and from there the image will be deployed into the pods. Okay, so pods is the basic unit where your application is actually running. Okay, so as we told, there are a number of triggers and hooks are there. So one is webhook trigger. So it is whenever the code get changed. So this triggers get invoked. Then the image trigger. So whenever the base image. So if we are receiving your image from maybe any kind of repository, image repository like Docker or the QA.io. So whenever there is a change in image, so this image trigger will be happen, then the build hook. So this is kind of for the testing purpose. Okay, so once your application develop once your new version of application is available, so before pushing the image into the internal image registry, you can run the test cases. So this build hook will work there. Then deployment. So once your new image is ready for the deployment, then this deployment will happen, and it will deploy your image into the pods. Okay, let's discuss this right side concept here. It is showing you the how OpenShift to build your application. Okay, so once as soon as you uh, give OpenShift command OC new app. Okay, so there are a number of parameters you will pass with this command. So so there is a lot of automations inside the OpenShift. So as soon as you will give and based on these parameters, as soon as you will give this command OC new app, so based on the parameter, it will decide that what kind of deployment and what kind of build it will be going to be. Okay, so if it is having, so it will automatically identify everything. Like, so if it is if parameter is kind of a registry URL like Docker, QA.io, or any kind of internal image registry, it will identify it. And if it is that, then it will pull the image from the registry and deploy your container image. If it is not the registry URL, and if it is the Git URL, okay, GitHub URL, then what it will do, First it will check whether this git, your source is, whether your source is having any docker file or not. Okay, if it find a docker file inside your code, then it will run that docker file and will create the image and then push this image into the image registry. But if your code do not have the docker file, and or you are running this oc new app command with the strategy equal to source, then it will ignore the docker file and um, will clone your git repository with your source code, and it will then again, as I told, there are a lot of automations are here, so it will automatically will check whether in which language your application is written, either it is PHP, Java, okay, Python. So it will automatically detect the application runtime, and accordingly it will build your image. Okay, so here as image stream support builder image. Okay, so the builder image kind, so if your application is written in PHP, so it will fetch out the builder image of PHP and will build your application accordingly, like that. Okay, so I will show you in details these every steps. Okay, so we will develop a whole application having all these examples, like creating application using image, the container image, then we will use the docker file, and then at last we will use the h2i. Okay, so let me move into the next. So that is the part I will demonstrate you in our next tutorial, that how all these things will actually work. So it is not the theory. The next tutorial would be the kind of demonstration. I will show you all these three parts. Okay, we will create a project inside the OpenShift, and then we will create these three microservices inside this project. Okay, so this microservice movie catalog service is written in Java. This again is a Spring Boot application written in Java as 3 rating data service, and then this microservice P2 movie info service, it is written in the Python. Okay, so this Python we will receive from the Docker Hub as an image and will deploy inside the OpenShift. This S3 rating data service, it is the Spring Boot Java application. We will receive it from the GitHub as a source code, and from the source code we will deploy this inside the OpenShift. And as one movie catalog service, we will get it from again from the Docker Hub, but as a concept of Docker file. Okay. So as we discussed in our last slide, so these are the three techniques in which we can build an application. So once the application get built, so it will having the different parts like build, deploy, service, and route. So I will show you all these three parts inside the OpenShift. We will discuss, and I will show you the OpenShift CLI as well as the OpenShift um, web portal. Okay, so GUI, web GUI. I will show you all these. Okay. So thanks everyone for watching it. I will explain this all this scenario in my next tutorial. Thanks everyone. Have a nice day.